Welcome to the pilot episode.
Valerie, you cannot say that. Okay, this is what happens when you turn 30 and you say to your best friend, hey, let's make a podcast. And then you buy a microphone and... Valerie. Needless to say, this is a work in progress. We'll see how it goes. Okay, Valerie. Welcome to the podcast. Your podcast.
Thank you. Welcome to my own podcast.
Your own podcast. Yes, you're very welcome.
Wow.
This is our first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It is.
And we have been thinking a lot about what question we should have. That's not true. Yes.
We don't think.
We don't think. We just come with vibes, and sometimes interesting stuff just pops out.
Yes, exactly.
And one of the least ridiculous questions that we've had is the one that we have for this podcast, which is, if you were president of the world, if you had like unlimited power for a day, and you could like come up with one policy, one rule, one thing that would have to be obeyed after today, and then you just leave, like you just do something and then you just leave the bomb and see whatever happens and see how it happens. But people in countries and in general, they kind of have to try to follow up with what you say within reason. I mean, people are still going to fight and there will still be war and that kind of thing. But what a shame, right? But the rule that you come up with more or less will be followed.
Okay.
And the goal for the rule that you are supposed to give is to reduce as much as possible the CO2 emissions that we have as humanity.
Okay.
So I was thinking, like, one of the first things that came to mind is like, you are not allowed to drive internal combustion engine cars. Yeah. But like, of course, you would have to do it within a certain amount of time. And you would say, okay, 5 years from now, everyone will drive electric some way or another. So you would have like government programs to buy your all internal combustion car and then can finance you an electric car and so on. And it would be a lot of work and a lot of people will be angry. But 5 years from now, because of your policy, everyone would be driving electric or something like that.
Mm.
I wouldn't do that because I really love internal combustion cars.
I was about to say that's a great idea.
No. I want my car that makes funny sounds. So.
What if? Okay, but they add noises to the.
I have had that debate with myself.
Yeah.
I saw this YouTube channel. I forgot the name now. There are two guys. They're crazy, and I love them. And they review cars. And one of the cars that they reviewed was very expensive, very high performance electric car that inside gives you the noises, like of the changes of gear and everything. And they were like, I feel conflicted because this is awesome, but it's fake. Like,
yeah, but if you didn't know, or like you would know like in the back of your mind, but eventually like in like public consciousness, I feel like it would just become normal.
Probably, but I think like I already tasted the delicious juices of driving a real manual internal combustion car, and I don't think that I
Hey, personal sacrifice is required if we're going to decarbonize.
I know, and it would also be kind of like okay, like if you just use electric cars to go from A to B, like all the time.
Yeah. And
then on the weekends, you can just go to a track and have fun.
Yeah.
But the problem is that's expensive. But like if you make that more accessible to people, then it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you could also have like, you don't outlaw internal combustion engines. It's just the new ones have to be electric, or the new ones you're like encouraged. And also I feel like, first of all, not everyone needs a car. So like if you have your car as like a toy, it's like having a TV. You can have your car as your toy, and then either you expand public transit, because there will be like basically people want the most convenient thing. Rarely do people actually like driving, or like they don't like commuting. They like driving, but they don't like commuting. So if you had like a way, for example, the metro or whatever, or even like car shares and stuff like that, where like they have that in Denmark, where you can rent someone else's car for quite cheap and then you can go. Then you could just have your like internal combustion engine as your like antique. It's like collecting antique furniture, but it's just like,
wow, you just
a Honda Civic.
You just insulted me. Like, but okay.
You're an old man who likes
Am I an old man?
Yes.
A little bit.
Embrace the change.
I feel like I'm a superposition of an old man and a 13-year-old somehow.
Yeah.
In the same.
But also, you being 13 would actually work well with electric cars having sounds. It's like having this, like, those toys where you push a button and it makes the sound?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is just that, but for big boys.
For big boys.
Yeah. Like,
big boys with a license.
Yeah, you do the nyr, and it'll like, inside it'll be like nyr, and then you'll be
like,
happy.
Speed!
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, on the outside, it's like completely silent.
Oh, what a shame. No, I really like the internal combustion cars that you turn it on and it feels like it's alive. And the other one is just an iPod with wheels, and that feels so lifeless.
Hey, everything can be faked well enough that you think it's real.
We live in a simulation.
We live in a simulation.
But anyway, do you think the car is like the best policy, or like it's a good policy? Because I think it is not a good idea. Like, to reduce CO2 emissions is like, okay, it's gonna have a positive impact, but overall is like a good first guess, but not a good idea overall.
I feel like there's like these like band-aid solutions that sort of like, if you do increase public transport and reduce cars on the road, I think that does make an impact, because I mean, after energy, cars are the biggest chunk of emissions, or like road transport is the biggest chunk of emissions. So like if you made trucks electric and you like stop shipping things over land, that kind of stuff. And then obviously there's energy, which is the biggest chunk, which I guess you need to have in some sort of like strategy, but I also think that's like so slow. Like, if you there are policies that are like switch to renewable energy, and you need to, I don't know, build 50% wind or whatever. Like, they have those. It's just that you run into other issues. Like, Denmark has run into this issue now where they do have a lot of renewable energy in the grid, but they don't have any way, because it's intermittent, they don't have any way to like back it up, or like if there's a lot of wind blowing, it goes into negative energy pricing, which then the company has to pay for, which they hate. So they won't build more renewable energy. And like the last offshore wind auction got no bids because no one wanted to build electricity in a grid that's already saturated. So then comes the question, like, what do you do when you've made too much renewable energy?
Yeah, I agree.
And you have nowhere to put it.
And also when you have like no wind and the electricity price just shoots up, and it's like, oh, well.
So like solving for volatility, I think it's like a weird like second order transition problem where like people or countries that don't have enough renewable energy aren't going to run into this for a long time.
Yeah.
But then Denmark, or like even Germany or Sweden or whatever, have run into this problem where they can't build anymore because they have no solutions to like the intermittency problem or like the volatility problem.
Yeah.
So I guess another sort of like energy related solution is like having, this isn't even really policy, so maybe it's too much, but like a strategy for what happens when you get there, because no one's gotten there.
I agree. I mean, right now I know that at DTU there is a lot of research and stuff happening. I don't really get it because I'm not in that field, but stuff related to electricity markets, to like how does a fully renewable electricity market should look like, and how do you charge for the electricity, and what happens when there is low wind, and it is not an easy problem, and it's not something that we are currently like prepared to deal with, like 100% renewables, not yet.
No, which is an issue. But also, I wouldn't put that as my policy because no one's there except Denmark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, if you say, okay, from tomorrow we all wind or all solar or whatever, like it's really hard, because the best you can do is like to give incentives for that to be built. But tomorrow, if you live in Poland and you connect your phone to be charged, you have no control over whether this comes from wind or coal or gas or whatever. Like, what do you do?
So yeah, that wouldn't be my policy. I think you can like think bigger picture. I think essentially it comes down to like reducing consumption of thing, or like even manufacture. Just like there's so much stuff. And like I mean, like for example, each person having an individual car is way less emissions efficient than everyone taking the bus.
But it's fun.
But But I also think buses are kind of fun.
Wow.
I love the bus.
You rarely take the bus.
Yeah, because I bike. I also like biking. Or having like cities that are bikeable and things like that. But then it's still a matter of like, there's this idea that like there's still status associated to having things that are expensive.
I agree.
Or like more things, or pretty things, or things that like there's a lot of culture around buying nice clothes or like accessorizing, things like that, which I don't think should be taken away, because I think that's not the issue. It's more like there's large scale consumption of people who are very, very rich and they have yachts or like they have private jets or they, I don't know, own coal mines. Like there's like so much like that's the scale that you have to hit, I think, not like telling people they can't buy their favorite jeans. Obviously it all is cumulative. So if like 1 billion people are buying jeans, yes. But I think, yeah, the issue or like the easiest thing to tackle is like people who are super rich and buy big things that are polluting. And no one needs a private jet. No one needs a yacht.
Needs a private jet.
No one needs like, if you have a mansion and you're one person, like you don't even use all of it. Like there's so many things that like are just excessive for the sake of being excessive. And I think rich people specifically, they get bored. Like there's a point where you have so much money that you can't use it all.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for you to have that money, and you've like experienced everything you need to experience in a lifetime, and then you sort of get depressed. Like no one, like
you start crying in your Ferrari.
Exactly. Like no, I don't know. Like maybe this is just like media influence because there's been a lot of movies that have come out recently that are like the terrible side of being rich, like White Lotus or like Triangle of Sadness, like all these things of like rich people, but they're actually just sad and like a shell of a person.
Yes, miserable.
It's just like super miserable, which I think there's something to it. Like if you're that rich, like no one wants to be your friend because they're your friend. They're your friend because you have money and like you've done everything. If you wanted to fly to Bali, you could. Like the nice thing about not having money, like for example, the windsurf trip you were just went on is like you would think it's worth it because you've like saved up money for it or like you've been excited for it the whole year because you can't afford to go there every day. Whereas rich people, they can. And like there's no like
it's not special.
No, exactly. There's no like stimulation that comes from the fact that you can buy something nice or like
So just to clarify, is it like your policy to end capitalism or end rich people?
Like ideally capitalism, but I also think that like sort of topples the entire world order and a lot of people will suffer.
I agree. I was having this conversation with someone else and she said, oh, one easy way to reduce a lot of CO2 emissions would be to end wars.
Yeah.
And I agree that there is a lot of CO2 unnecessarily in wars. And when you are in a war, you don't care about how much you emit.
Yeah.
But it's like, how would you convince people to just stop war? Like, go to Israel and say, okay, everyone hold hands. Like, that is not going to happen. I'm as much as you want to. I'm sorry. Even if you have all the power in the world for one day, that's not going to last more than a month.
Exactly. It's difficult when it's like the war is not caused because people want to fight people. It's caused because there's been like deep-rooted issues between like indifferences between cultures.
So then I agree with your take on capitalism. It's like, yeah, sure, it's bad, but like you are not gonna end it like in this generation.
Yeah, or I mean, it's one, it's difficult to end, but two, like capitalism does bring wealth, obviously to like the richest people, but also to the poorest people. Like,
I agree.
People will be out of a job, and like it's not going to be the rich people who suffer. They have enough money that they
without capitalism, I would still be somewhere in Colombia.
Exactly,
things out.
And like, yeah, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't have clothes. Like, there's certain things that like a system, regardless of how bad it is, the stability of it means that you can prosper under, or like most people. As long as you're in like sort of a fair society, like Denmark is a good example of it.
Yes.
The US maybe not, but like regulated capitalism. And don't get me wrong, I don't like capitalism, but I don't like rich people more.
I agree. I think there is a very widespread sentiment like against rich people. Like, you know, this guy who shot the CEO.
Yeah, love him.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah,
he's a celebrity. And
and I think there's also like there's a mindset like you should be able to be rewarded for hard work, which I think is true. Like, if someone, this is especially the truth in the US, where people are like, if I just work hard, I can get to where I am because there's freedom and like I can make a lot of money because there's no taxes, and like there's this mindset of like work hard and you get rewarded. Whereas Denmark, maybe that's less because if you work hard, you get taxed, and like, but that's for most people that is fine. Like, if you're making a lot of money and get taxed a lot and it goes back into society, that's a mindset that Danish people are okay with, but not the US.
Yeah.
But I think there's like extreme, like this also like would obviously happen more in the US, where like you can only like you work so hard and then at that point you get to a point where you've made all your money, but like going past that is just exploiting other people. Like you can't become a billionaire without exploiting other people's like lives, and like Jeff Bezos made people like not go to the bathroom on their
those
ships.
stories from the
Yeah,
warehouses.
exactly. And like Elon Musk has done a whole bunch of stuff on like scamming people. And he also like stole ideas from people. Like no billionaire has gotten there out of hard work. They've
I
gotten
agree.
there out of like scamming people and like exploiting other people and kind of being inhuman.
Yes.
So I think there's like a limit in which you can get rich, like get to, I don't know, 100 million. I think that's a lot, but whatever. And then past that, you're a terrible human being.
Yes, I think there should be some like moral, like it's a point, like an actual number in society where people like look at you and like you're past that number, everyone hates you. Like why would you go there? Like this is
like,
not good.
There's no reason for you to be a billionaire unless you're like greedy, basically.
Exactly. And I do agree that there should be like enough movement within society for you to, if you want to earn more wealth. Like it's I don't think it would be solved like for everyone to have the same income and the same like kind of like work hours. Like I don't think that's a good solution, because if I want to have a bigger house or a nicer car, I should be able to work harder or like work smarter and get there somewhere. That's definitely not the issue. The issue is when you have so much money that you become, I don't know,
like you basically become untouchable. Like Elon Musk can do literally whatever he wants.
Yes,
like
he is doing whatever he wants.
He is doing what he's like buying out voters. He's like influencing elections. He's like he could break the law and nothing would happen to him unless it was like really, really bad. But like for the most part, he can like buy his way out of stuff. Like no one should get so rich that they like transcend the system that made them that rich in the first place. Like,
agreed.
Going like, yeah, I don't know. There's a certain amount of regulation that needs to be in place so that someone like Elon Musk doesn't become a psycho. But here we are because there wasn't regulation in place to do that. So yeah, I think the policy would be like, once you reach a certain amount, you need to do something, or you need to.
I agree. Like to make it illegal. Like
it's illegal
and like completely illegal. It's like no, that you have your way around by owning stocks and owning properties and owning lawyers, and that you no fucking way to get around.
No, everything you own is taken into account. All your assets, the size of your business. Like if your business is growing past 100 million, you sell it off to people. Like
exactly. So if you are past this number, let's say 100 what million.
Yeah, I mean, I have no concept of how rich people are.
I also don't know. So let's just say $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like if you own more than $1 billion, every other dollar that you earn, like you have $1 billion and your stock is just like generated more money. So now you have $1 billion and one.
Yeah.
That extra one automatically goes to whatever country you live in. Like automatically, like you don't have to do anything. And now your stocks, like the price fell. So now you don't have 1 billion, but 0.9. Well, tough luck. Now you have 0.9.
Yeah, but then you can make your way back up to $1 billion.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. And once you get past, $1 billion, again, everything goes to the government.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like this argument against this idea, which says that someone like Elon Musk would do more good with having a lot of money than what would happen if you just redistribute the wealth, which I think is so stupid and narcissistic. Stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do you think it's better in the hands of Elon Musk than the
exactly? I mean,
like,
let's assume this is not true, but let's say that he is brilliant and he is a genius and he's gonna do something amazing with this money. I think if you just take that money and you give it to, I don't know, feed and educate people in a developing country, like those people probably will just have a normal middle income life, but their kids are gonna go to university and they're gonna do so many things that you cannot predict. Like the butterfly effect is unmeasurable. And it's so unreasonable to believe that whatever comes out of Elon Musk is gonna be any better than all of that.
And also, like, you can tell what Elon Musk wants to do. He wants to go to Mars.
Yes.
Which helps no one.
No,
He wants to, I don't know, take over the government. Also helps no one. He's like in the process right now of like firing a bunch of government employees because it saves money.
Yes.
And like, what?
I think what he really wants is like to be liked.
He wants to be liked. And
he wants a hug.
More power. I don't know what it is. Like he's a billionaire, so he does kind of have power, but I feel like he needs to have the kind of power where he can do whatever he wants. Like I guess he had this impression that being friends with Donald Trump meant that he could do whatever he wanted with Tesla because it would be unregulated. But now he's realizing that Donald Trump is tariffing everything, which isn't good for Tesla. So now he like, I don't know when it was, but after the tariffs came on before Donald Trump took them off, Elon Musk posted on X this like chart about how like free trade is the best. And everyone's like, so like, are you with him or are you not with him? Because free trade is the opposite of what he's doing. And like, yeah, his like stocks tanked and all this stuff. So like, I can imagine he sided with Trump because he thought that it would be the easiest way to like influence the government. But now he's like, wait, this isn't working.
This isn't working.
My plan. Anyway, long story short, he doesn't need all that money. And
nobody needs all that money.
Nobody needs all that money.
I heard somewhere like if you have money, like if you don't have money and then you get it, it's like for survival reasons. And then at some point it becomes like for fun.
Yeah.
I think like for most people in developed countries like Denmark, you get to the point where it's for fun.
Yeah.
You don't care about the getting to the end of the month and groceries are taken care of. And you have
and you can
rent.
kind of do whatever you want. Like
yeah,
you can go on your surfing trips and like
you can go skiing and then you can go on a trip with your kids and whatever. Like you don't worry about like survival.
Yeah.
And then it's fun and then you go on vacations. That's great. And then after that, it becomes about power.
Yeah.
Like having money. And I think that's when it starts to become dangerous, right?
Yeah.
When you have so much money that it's power over someone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's not good.
Exactly. And yeah, being able to like, buy your way into people's lives or like buy relationships or like, it's just like, it's just inhuman at that point. Like there's no way you're getting fulfillment out of like not being able to, or like the way that you build relationships is that you've bought their time or their, I don't know, you've bought entertainment or whatever, rather than like just getting to know someone.
Agree.
So yeah, I think it's also not good for them. Like I don't think there's any billionaire out there that's like, wow, I have a happy, fulfilling life.
I'm happy. Like, no.
And it's because of the billions.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So yeah, it should be illegal. Or if they don't want to give up their money, then they have a punishment. But it can't be jail because they can kind of like bail themselves out of jail. Also, like if you're in jail, you kind of like
they just would be living their wealthy life.
Exactly. Yeah. They would get to the nicest jails and like just sit. I don't know. They go to an island or something. Like they would really be in jail.
Yeah.
So they need to do something else, which I think they should. There should be like death involved.
Death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, jail is one thing. I think like the like fear of like, I mean, making it illegal is one thing, but the fear of breaking that law should be enough that like you don't want to get there. Like there should be a disincentive to reach that limit because like just giving your money away, then fine. But like if you for some reason, I mean, you said you could make it automatic, but for some reason you like circumvented that. Yeah, somehow find it, I don't know, you put it in Bermuda so no one knows where it is or something.
Okay, so you distributed your money in such a way that you have more than the limit and it's legal.
But no one finds out.
Okay.
But if they do find out, there should be punishment because like, I don't think jail's enough.
Okay.
Also, I think the judicial system in the US is kind of like skewed. So
of course it is.
So actually, I only have one idea about this, but there should be like billionaire Hunger Games.
Billionaire Hunger Games!
Where like, if you're a billionaire and you get caught like being more than a billionaire, you're entered into like an arena basically. Though, this would be difficult because you'd have to do it like internationally. So there needs to be like an international arena somewhere, maybe in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or something.
Yes, that sounds great.
And you're sent there. Yeah, and it's televised and like everyone gets to watch like these billionaires fight to the death, and then there will be a winning billionaire, I guess, and he gets sent to Mars. So no, and like then he doesn't cause anyone any trouble, and like most of them want to go to Mars anyway. Like all of them in this like weird Mars race where like
let me see if I see the logistics of this. So there's a limit, and if you get past the limit and you get caught, like you were intentionally breaking the limit, right?
Yes.
Not like I accidentally did and then I paid. Like no. Like you were intentionally breaking the law.
Yes.
Let's say that they gather the billionaires that break that law every year, and then in one day they put all of them in an island where they fight to the death, like Hunger Games style.
Yes.
And there's one survivor.
Yes.
And that one gets one-way ticket to Mars.
Yes.
Oh, I like it. I really like it.
I also think like this idea will only happen once. Like The billionaires will be like, you idiots, you're not going to send me to the Hunger Games. And then it'll happen.
Then it happens.
And then they'll watch it and like, I don't know, 12 billionaires are going to die. And then no one will hit that limit anymore.
That would be so cool. And then you would make a rule like it is also illegal to like have like inheritance for like more than, I don't know, $10 million. And then all of your money gets given back to your government and everyone is happy and everyone is less poor. And everyone gets like a holiday just because you died. That would be great.
There should be just like Hunger Games holiday, like
yes, where they give you
they give everyone the day off.
Everyone, nobody's working. Nobody, not even
they just get to watch.
Everyone is just watching the Hunger. Oh yeah, that would be so cool.
Exactly. I don't really know. Like I haven't read the Hunger Games in a while, so like I kind of forget the logistics. But I also have this like sort of vision that no billionaire knows how to fight.
Yeah.
Like you could. I think how it worked is like there was like something in the middle. Like they all on these like stands, and there's something in the middle that has weapons in it, and you like when the gunshot or whatever, you run and you find a weapon, and then you just start killing people.
Yeah. It was something like that.
I don't think any of them can run. Have you ever seen Elon Musk run?
Oh my god, the guy is so like his like abdomen is like round and like.
I bet you could AI generate like video of Elon Musk running.
For sure.
Can ChatGPT do videos?
I think it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, maybe.
I asked him for a picture this morning, and it took like a few minutes.
Also failed and made me Asian.
Oh yes, it failed miserably. You are Asian though.
I am Asian, but it made me more Asian.
It made you like really Asian.
Really Asian.
Yes.
Yeah, it probably doesn't do videos. I feel like one of them.
I think maybe a paid version would give you something.
Maybe. I do have the paid version. But I don't know if I have that actually on. Anyway. Okay, yeah. Elon Musk can't run.
Yeah, it would be so funny just to see them like, I mean, you just see them on TV and most of them are already pathetic.
Yeah.
Even though they have all the money in the world. Yeah. And then you see them like physically doing something. I think it would be great.
Yeah. Have you also seen that there's a video of him like in front of a crowd and he like someone put a sim next to him and he does the exact same movements as the sim. He has these like weird hand movements.
That's how he learned.
That's how he
to socialize.
It's so funny because he syncs up almost exactly with the sim. The sim's on like their home screen, so they're just kind of like doing whatever. And like this kid, it's so funny. He just like he does this like this thing. Like he does this.
Yeah, raises his hands.
He raises his hands and like kind of shakes them at the ceiling. And the sim does it at the exact same time. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, so he can't run. I don't know if Jeff Bezos can run.
Jeff Bezos looks like he could like throw a punch.
Yeah.
And then it would hurt. It would hurt a bit.
I don't know who else is a billionaire. I'm gonna look up like the only three I know, at least in the US, are Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I also feel like in Saudi Arabia you will have like a bunch of.
For sure. They can't run.
No, they cannot fight.
They can't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like these people are so rich. They've never like they have bodyguards. They have like. Yeah. Actually, maybe I feel like some of them can probably like train boxing. Like I feel like it's something you do.
Yeah, I feel like if they caught you and they tell you like, okay, by in 10
June,
months, June, you will be sent to the island to the Hunger Games. Then you would train for those, I don't know, 10 months or whatever time you have.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting.
Just to like
all of them except one is gonna die. So
you also know that like someone's gonna be documenting this, so there'll be a really good documentary that comes out of it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 10 richest people. Elon Musk, $342 billion.
$342 billion.
Mark Zuckerberg, $216 billion. Jeff Bezos, $215 billion.
Wait, go to number 10. Like what number?
10 is Bill Gates. I forgot about Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. I don't know.
He's $118 billion.
118.
Yeah, that's the 10th.
Still like over 100 times what we said was too much.
Yeah.
And we're just giving a number, right?
He would have to give that away up to 1 billion.
Yeah.
In order to not participate in the Hunger Games.
Exactly. But I don't know. I have the image of like him. He would just comply with the rules.
Yeah, I feel like he would definitely comply. Bill Gates would comply. Jeff Bezos also, I feel like he might comply. Though he has like his space thing that he wants to fund. The Blue Origin thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like if Jeff Bezos doesn't comply, he has a chance for winning.
You think?
Yeah.
He kind of looks like...
I mean, I'm just comparing him to Elon Musk and he's just pathetic, so...
Jeff Bezos. Images. Okay, yeah. He's okay.
Yeah, he's not weird looking alien.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a weird body shape like Elon Musk does.
I don't know how people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump haven't died
yeah.
from a heart attack. Oh,
Look
at that.
He's so round.
Oh my God.
Also, why does his beer belly start at his boobs? Like,
I
don't
don't
normally
know.
beer bellies they start like sort of at the belly?
I don't know.
Oh my God, why is his chest so big?
It's so, I mean, that's for the alien inside, like in Men in Black.
Oh my God, he's like rectangle shaped. His rib cage is so big. Oh, it's called barrel chest. I don't know.
Barrel chest.
Yeah, apparently there's like an actual
And why is that?
seen in patients with emphysema, increased lung compliance, increased FRC, larger volume. And wait, I'm gonna look it up. It just says like there's a diagram. Barrel chest. Also, he's rich. He should be able to like get this done.
He should just exercise.
Yeah, like he could have 18 personal trainers.
Yeah.
And he could like, I don't know, he could even get surgery if he wanted to. Like if you just like, I don't know. Barrel chest describes a rounded, bulging chest similar in shape to a barrel. While not technically a medical term, barrel chest is often used by healthcare providers to describe a physical characteristic consistent with cases of late-stage emphysema in which the chest may become fixed in an outward position. Wait, hang on. What is emphysema?
That is a very good question. I don't know.
I'm gonna go down this
You're
really
the
weird
English
rabbit hole.
speaking.
Any air-filled enlargement in the body's tissues. Most commonly, emphysema refers to the permanent enlargement of air spaces in the lungs. People with mild emphysema who quit smoking have normal life expectancy. Those who adopt good health habits can enjoy a fairly normal lifestyle for a long time. Even people whose emphysema is severe have a good chance of surviving for 5 years or more. Okay, we don't actually know if he has it. It's just like, that's what he looks like.
He looks weird.
Anyway, yeah, he can't run. That man
Cannot run.
He can't run. He can't hold an axe. He probably can't even shoot a gun. Oh yeah, look at this. There's this is Elon Musk. This is Jeff Bezos.
Okay, I mean Jeff Bezos is not young, but come on.
But why is he so white? He's so pale. Look at his fucking nipples.
Oh, and yeah, in the windsurfing trip, I realized I'm not white.
Yeah,
I just went from a little brown to darker brown, and meanwhile all the Danes were red.
Were they wearing sunscreen?
Yeah, but
they're white. Look, someone Photoshop or like AI'd him.
Wow.
Look at his face. Like that is not Elon. Look at him.
Wow, he's but that's the thing, like you don't have to be fit.
No.
You don't have to be beautiful to be like a good person and to be like a cool guy.
Literally.
Like, nothing. And he is like life proof that you can have all the money in the world and still be pathetic.
Yeah, like it just proves that money doesn't fix everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't fix your physical problems. But like, yeah, it's like you won't do it if you don't want to.
Yes.
And like clearly he doesn't have that's not his priority. But also like he doesn't care about his kids either. Like he's brought his kid around for like PR reasons.
Yeah, and at some point he names them like with numbers or like something.
Exactly. Like, and like, so what do you care about? Like as a billionaire, what do you care about? Except like, which is why the Hunger Games are good. They care about living and they care about power. Which living, I think the Hunger Games does threaten. I also think power, like it's a little bit humiliating to be like showcased on TV.
Yes.
That you can't run.
But do you think there is a chance of a success story? So suppose you broke the law and then you train and then you are freaking good and then you killed everybody.
Yeah.
And then you went to Mars and you became like a good founding father of the Mars colony.
Yeah.
I mean, like if that happens, I think it'll be okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Like, also, I feel like the idea of people going to Mars, like Elon Musk is kind of obsessed with it. Jeff Bezos is doing it. There was another one. I don't remember. There are all these billionaires trying to go to Mars. Maybe Bill Gates. I don't remember. But like, they want to do it because they think that life on Earth sucks. Like, they want to like restart society. But I also don't know how they're going to do that if like they just restart it the same way that they've done on Earth.
Yes.
Like, what are you going to fix?
Yeah.
Except now you've brought your like weird colonial billionaire mindset to a plate and started from there.
Yeah.
Whereas like at least Earth started, I don't know, we were hunter-gatherers at some point. Like we didn't give a shit about
you just want to do the same thing but in a planet that cannot sustain life.
Exactly.
Yet.
Can't sustain life yet. You're going to bring the same like sort of systems and structures that like built whatever shithole you think Earth is. Like, why do you think this is going to be better? And I also feel like the way that Elon Musk thinks about this stuff, which is like, or this is rumored, I don't know if he actually does, but like he has this weird like Hitler type thing where like there's like a superior race and and they're the ones who are going to go to Mars. And I just don't really know how he thinks that's compatible. Like,
yeah, I don't know if that's a thing or what, but I do think that the billionaires that want to go to Mars and that sort of thing, they're like weirdly obsessed with like mortality.
Yeah.
And they want to do something beyond their lives, and having a big company is not good enough.
Exactly.
So they want to like have a lot of political power and build a lot of stuff. And one of the things that they can do, just throwing money at the problem, kind of, is going to Mars or going to space.
True.
And I mean, if they do it, what they think is like, this is an easy, quote unquote, easy way to just put their name in history.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which, yeah, I think that's also like a Donald Trump thing. Like, I feel like this is like a stupid version of it, but like his whole obsession with Greenland and like Canada is that he wants to be able to point on a map and say like, I made the US bigger. And like, that's it.
And because of the projection, it looks very big.
Exactly. He's like, Canada and Greenland, they're the nearest and they're also the biggest. He's never talking about taking over Mexico. It's like, I mean, first of all, there's Mexicans there, but second, it's not like his idea of like a grand US, but I'm so sure that he wants his face on like Mount Rushmore with all those like president, like he wants to be seen as like the hero of the US, which he's not going to be.
And you can make history by being great or by being really terrible.
Yeah, which he will make it by being really terrible. There's no doubt he will be in history books because he's already done whatever he
I really hope that one day we are able to look back at this period and be like, why did they choose him as a president?
Yeah.
And like we look back now at like, I'm not American, but like if you look at like Nixon, it's like, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at him and it's like, what? We're going worse.
It got worse. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to an extent, there's probably explanation in that like the American people had no one to vote for in a sense. Like the Democrats aren't doing great either. Obviously, it didn't have to be Trump, but like if you're someone who doesn't really think about world politics and like you care about the price of eggs, and then there's a guy who's kind of orange, but he's talks okay, who says, yeah, like the problem with America is that everything's expensive and I'm going to bring inflation down. And the Democrats are saying some like weird academic shit that like no one can relate to.
I agree.
Maybe you'll vote for that guy, even if like he sounds kind of crazy. But like him putting tariffs on everything, you don't think affects you because it's international politics. Like he's trying to save America and da da da. So like in a sense, I don't really blame the population. Like obviously they voted for him, but also the US system is set up in a way that like even if 50% of people didn't vote for him, he could still win. In fact, the first time, he still won.
Yeah,
he 50% of the population didn't vote for him. So like I think what is more important now is just like figuring out how to deal with it.
Yes.
Because he is there and he's going to stay there for at least 4 years and he wants to have 4 more because he's an autocrat, but whatever. The problem is he's not a billionaire, so we can't put him in the Hunger Games.
I agree, but like if I think the Hunger Games thing should apply to anybody with this amount of money. So even if you are the literal dictator or owner of a country, you would be put there.
What's Donald Trump's net worth? Like, how far is he from the billion? I don't think he has that much net worth, actually, because he wasn't a very good businessman. Oh, wealth currently estimated at $4.1 billion. He would make it to the Hunger Games.
He would make it. Oh, and it would also be so nice to like, then you kind of have this other quote unquote problem, or like not problem, but decision to take. Like, let's assume all the billionaires or most of them, they say like, okay, I don't want to die. Here is my extra billions.
Yeah.
Then you have to take that money and do something with it.
Yeah.
Like it would be so interesting to see what different countries do with that money. I saw, I'm not going to say that I read it somewhere. I saw on a TikTok.
Yes.
Yes, I read it somewhere, right? While I was pooping, I saw a TikTok that this person on TikTok, I do believe she's a doctor in Switzerland. She said that the amount of money that I think it was Elon Musk has is more money than what Switzerland spent during COVID. Like the bill for Switzerland during COVID for all the vaccinations and all the money that they lost and all the policies that they had to take, all of that could have been like just covered by one single billionaire who said like, okay, here is a check.
Yeah, like
so if you have all that money just given to you to your country, like do something like education, feeding people, just building infrastructure. It's so many things that suddenly you have money to just build the wind farms without having to bet or whatever. Just do the transition. Here is the money. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Or everyone gets an electric car. That would be a terrible idea. To give everyone a car.
Everyone gets an electric car that you can push a button and it goes.
No, having more cars is not the solution, Valerie.
You're right.
Yeah,
bus. No, okay.
Electric buses are really great.
Yeah,
because
cool.
the internal combustion engine sound from a bus is so annoying. It just stresses me out.
Yeah,
and there are so many like gases coming out of it. I hate it.
Yeah,
but the electric buses are the shit. I love them.
They're so good.
Yeah,
they're so smooth.
The one that I take every day to work now, it's electric, and I really like it. It's so good. Like, first of all, it's very silent, and then I just put my noise canceling stuff, and it's even
silenter,
and I love it. It's like, yes, I love silence.
Yeah, I also a big fan of trains.
Yeah, but that's because you're autistic.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, I also like trains.
How many emissions do you think that the Billionaire Hunger Games would have? Like,
I think it's worth it.
It's like, okay, if you took away, because like one other thing that I also don't like is the Olympics.
Olympics?
Yeah.
You don't like the Olympics?
I don't like the idea of the Olympics because every year it's somewhere different, and every year they build a new stadium for it. And it like really fucks up the economy of like most places because it puts everyone into debt.
But the idea of the Olympics of like you are the top athletes in the world who are in a place competing for the best gold medal, I think that idea is great.
That is cool. However, so I would move this. So if we built an arena for the Hunger Games in the middle of the ocean, the Olympics should just be there every year. So that, like, I mean, the idea of the Olympics now is like a status thing. Like, every country bids for it because they want it to be there because it like increases tourism. However, most of them have been loss making. Like, even if you build that stuff,
we should have like a place.
Yeah, we should have a place.
It doesn't have to be It could be like in Athens, like reminiscing of the first ones.
It doesn't have to be. But I think if we do Billionaire Hunger Games, we're going to build a stadium anyway. We just have the Olympics there.
Oh.
I think this should solve multiple problems. Like, it would just increase wealth in general because billionaires would die, so it's redistributed, and you don't have to pay for the Olympics every year. In fact, you can have every sporting event there. You can have the NHL there. You can have...
Yeah, but if you're going to do it in an island, it wouldn't make sense to fly all the way to the island and play and then come back. Like, that's not very sustainable.
Okay, Olympics.
I think the Olympics
they're only every 2 years.
4 years.
Well, like summer are every 4 and winter are every 4. But
but you cannot have both in the same island unless it's like a very...
Yeah. What if the island moved? What if you built...
What if the island was a turtle? And then it give you bending?
What if it was like a floating thing where you could just like move it to the Arctic?
A ship?
A ship. What if it was just like those jet carriers, but it was the Hunger Games?
No, I think I think we can just have a tropical island for the thing, and then
for the summer ones, fine.
And then you can just have the Winter Olympics in Norway or something.
Yeah, or like Greenland, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
We can afford that.
Yeah, we can afford that.
Yeah.
And then we reduce the emissions from the Olympics because having to like build stuff every year and like fly. We can even have, I don't know where it would be, but maybe we can have like electric shuttles going from like the nearest continent.
We could have like gigantic zeppelins.
Yeah, exactly.
These electric ones.
Yeah.
Full of
hydrogen.
Solar panels and hydrogen. They work with hydrogen. Yes, that's amazing.
We've come full circle.
Yes, yeah. You go faster, but then you're going down. I really like the idea of the zeppelins, but... I don't think electric long distance flying is in the near future.
No, I wouldn't. No, agreed. Unfortunately, but like electric shipping.
What do you mean, like an electric ship? Like a
no, but that's also not that. close. Like
No.
most it's like green fuels and shit like that.
I agree. I mean, the burning fuel is not gonna stop because I mean we need planes and the
Yeah.
super big ship container.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They burn fuel, and that's okay. I mean, you can just aim to make them greener and more efficient, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Your goal is not to do emissions, but to be net zero.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
So we need carbon capture as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Definitely.
far from being real, but
Yes.
fine.
Yeah,
One day.
where I work, like every few years they have this meeting of like how far are we from the 2050 goals of emissions, and every time I feel like the meeting, like there will be a meeting in 2049 where we're gonna be like, okay, guys, so
time to get our shit together.
we have 6 months to do all of this, and we'll be fine. It's like, come on, like
my goal really in life is to live to 2050 just to see like what happens at 2050.
I think that we're just gonna be like,
just gonna move it back.
We fucked up now. For 2100. The goal is this, and
then I'll be like, damn it.
We would be.
Then
dead.
I have to live to 103, which maybe I could.
You're Asian. You might do it.
Not only am I Asian, I'm Japanese.
You're Japanese.
Which they live pretty long. Though they're also alcoholics, so I don't know how.
But you don't drink.
I don't. True. We'll see.
Yeah.
Give it 50 years, I might be an alcoholic.
Well, at this rate, this climate.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that will happen is I'll live 2050 to see the world collapse, which also like kind of interesting for the plot.
Interesting. Yeah, do it for the plot, right?
Do it for the plot. Like, it's interesting to live in a time where, like, maybe this has been the case the whole time. Like, do you think that people who were born in, like, the 60s thought, like, I'm going to live in a society that could collapse one day?
Well, in the 60s, yes, because they were in the Cold War, imminent death situation.
Yeah.
But I think that really, I mean, maybe not in the end of society, but the fact that their lifespan had a huge change in humans. I think that started really in the 1800s. Where like there's this example of this engineer. I think it was Theodore von Karman. When he graduated from his bachelor's in mechanical engineering, the Wright brothers were starting to fly.
Yeah.
And then he became like an engineer for flying. And when he died, like we were going to space.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
like, can you imagine like building a propeller with wood and like something with linen cloth and like trying to fly a few meters, and then in your life you develop warplanes and jets, and then you go supersonic, and then you go to space. And
in your lifetime. That's
in
crazy.
your lifetime.
But it's the same with the computers, I think. Like
I'm also like, yes, coming back to that, I'm very happy that I'm in this generation where I lived a lot of, well, not a lot, but a significant portion of my life before AI.
Yeah.
Like I became an engineer without ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be people who've never experienced not AI.
Yes. And like, I remember life without internet because Colombia.
Because you were poor.
Yes, I had an encyclopedia that I actually had to open. And that was like, I'm happy that I lived that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it makes you appreciate it more. But yeah, I wonder, because I mean, we live in a time now that, I mean, it came faster than we thought. Like, I was under the impression that like society may collapse at some point because climate change is going to get so bad that like there will be mass migration, ecosystems will collapse, and there won't be food,
And we all be eating grasshoppers.
Exactly. But I didn't think about, like, obviously everyone made jokes about World War III, but no one thought it would really happen. And now, first, like, at this, like, on this day, we're closer than we've ever been in my entire lifetime to, like, being in a war that is worldwide. But, like, also, it's weird because, like, from day to day, you're like, okay, there's going to be a war. He's going to fuck something up with Russia. Russia's going to invade the EU. We're all screwed. Then you're like, but will they actually do that? Like, that's dumb. But, like, it's an interesting time because it's just so... I work with a lot of old people. They're like, it has not been this bad, like, geopolitically since World War II. So you're like, okay, I can trust you a little bit on that because you're old enough to, like, maybe know that. I have no context.
Yeah.
To me, I was born in an era that, I don't know, 9/11 happened 3 years after I was born. So, like, there was that. But, like, I was 4, so I didn't give a shit. Like, I'm just a baby. The only thing that changed in my life is that
but
suddenly...
But you remember 9/11?
I remember it being an important day. I was 4. So, like, obviously... But, like, I was in kindergarten. I remember... people freaking out, and I didn't know why.
Okay, I was 7.
Yeah.
I remember getting out of the bathroom. I was pooping. And I just saw like my mom and like someone else in the house. They were like looking at the TV, like they had already impacted the first tower. And the shit was
I
going
didn't
down.
see it. I was in school. Like I do remember being in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like in the kindergarten, and I remember getting home and everyone freaking out, but I didn't know why. But I knew from then, like I think we had a trip to the US planned at some point. Like
Oh right, you were
recently,
in Canada.
I was in Canada. Like pretty soon after that, and I remember my mom and dad complaining because suddenly there was border control. There was never border control before. Like you could just like
there
be
is
in the same
now.
country. Now there is, and them like complaining about now we have to like show our passports, and I was like. I still don't know what's happening, but I know my parents are upset, so this is a big deal.
That's a big deal.
But like, yeah, I would think I was too young. Like I don't, but like that, I guess triggered a whole bunch of stuff in the Middle East that I also didn't think about because I was 5. But like, I'm at an age now, I'm also in political analysis now, but like watching people who have gone through all of this freak out is like, damn, something is happening.
Yeah.
Because you've been through the Cold War, you've been through 9/11, you've been through Vietnam. Like there's been like a whole bunch of stuff.
You remember Vietnam, you saw the fall of the Berlin,
you saw the fall of the Berlin Wall. Yeah, like you've been there.
You see the reunification of Germany.
You were there when the EU was created. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that has happened that I have no concept of except in history books, and they were there. And I'm like, okay, if you're freaking out, I should probably freak out. But like it's a sense of like not freaking out, but just like this hasn't happened before, so I don't know what to think.
It's like this, when they start saying like, oh, you should have some water at home and like some food. And I'm like, oh shit, should I just go back to South America?
Honestly, it might be safer than the EU at this point.
Yeah, it's like I've seen all these memes online where like South America is suddenly the safest place in the world. Like, wow, and this is unexpected.
Your time to shine.
Or time to shine. There won't be a lot of fruits.
Honestly, I might move to South America if there's a lot of fruit.
Oh, yeah. So another Mexican will give you all your pesos.
Yeah, exactly.
So they tell you you're beautiful.
At that point, I won't have an income, so it'll actually be worth it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be very nice. I'm very happy to go to Mexico and just be pretty and then like have random men come in and give me pesos.
My problem is Mexico is a little too close to the US.
Yeah, it's true. Mexico, I don't know if I'd want to go to Mexico. Like, it's fine, but like, yeah, you're right. A little too close to the US.
No, Mexico is great. I love Mexico.
Yeah.
But it's too close to the US.
True.
If in the context of, there's a war and the world is ending, I would want to go south.
But also, like, I'm so curious because, obviously you hear about World War II and, like, all the Jewish people that died and, like, all the war that happened. And I'm kind of wondering, like, do you think some guy with a hut in, like, I don't know, middle of Jutland was, like, affected by the war? They weren't bombed, really. Obviously, you would feel it, like, everything would be expensive and you couldn't get food and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But, like, how many people felt it?
Yeah, like maybe if you live somewhere remote and you're self-sufficient in terms of food, you could just
live out the war, not really thinking about it. Or like, I'm sure there were obviously you hear about the stories of like Jewish people being sheltered in places and like hidden in cities and but like, I wonder how far you would have to go to just like be a Jewish person and exist on a farm somewhere.
So your plan is to let Europe be bombed and go to
Jutland?
Go to Jutland? Or go to Norway with your chickens and
exactly.
Hang out there?
Do you think that would work? Like,
I don't know.
How much of like the geography of a place is actually affected by a war if someone invades? Like even Ukraine, like you see videos of like Kiev or something that were bombed at some point, but like they're still living their normal life for a lot of people
quote unquote normal life,
local,
right?
but like, you see like there are people in cafes, there are people like going to work, like even on the front lines you see videos of people dying and like everything is going to shit, but then you also see TikToks of like literal Ukrainians in whatever Kharkiv doing dances.
I would love to see internet within a war.
Yeah.
Like how would you approach this with like humor and like very dark humor and terrible things are happening, but we're also making fun of it somehow.
Yeah, which I'm sure there must be. Like, I'm sure Ukrainian TikTok is like lit right now.
There has to be. I don't know.
It's a coping mechanism, and also you can't just be sad.
It is a coping.
But I'm because also Ukraine is huge, so
like it is huge.
if you're Ukrainian but you're on the west border, you wouldn't have felt anything really. I mean, you would know that your country's being bombed.
Yeah.
Like you would know.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't see a plane passing by bombing somewhere. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Like, I'm curious. Like Denmark's obviously a little bit smaller, but if you're outside of Copenhagen and decide we're gonna invade Copenhagen, at what point are you like? If I'm in Hellerup, do I feel it?
Oof.
Like,
do you see a mushroom?
Okay, nuclear war different. But like if you're in Gilleleje and they attack Copenhagen,
just go to Lolland.
Yeah, exactly. No one gives a shit about Lolland.
I think that might be an advantage.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, exactly. Or like, how middle of nowhere do you have to be that it doesn't affect you? Because I'm sure there are people who got through World War II just like relatively in a normal, even in Germany, like it was relatively normal.
So if war breaks out, would you just try to live it like somewhere outside, or?
I think I would be okay. If war breaks out, it's going to come from the east. It'll go through Poland. It'll go through Germany,
probably Sweden.
Yeah, before getting here,
like Finland, Sweden.
Yeah, I think I would wait till the last possible moment to leave because I like.
Okay.
I think I would be delusional enough to think that it'll end.
Probably.
Like I wouldn't be. I'm sure when World War II started, no one thought it would be 4 years.
Okay, but then let's suppose that the war started and it's currently somewhere in Poland or Germany.
Yeah.
You're in Denmark. Like, would you just continue with your life, or you would be like, oh, I'm going to do something to help the war? Like, I think as an engineer, probably there would be like some efforts to be like, okay, we need airplane engineers, and I would be like there, like.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I feel like you could almost answer that question now because Denmark is ramping up their defense.
Exactly.
So, like, would you, like, you're going to look for a job in 6 months?
Yes.
Would you look in, like, the defense industry as well?
I mean, how much does my moral cost?
I'm sure they'll pay you a lot. They put a lot into that budget.
I just want to stay here without having to worry about my visa.
Exactly. And that's the same with me. Like, I would actually genuinely not leave because I'm worried my visa's going to expire.
Yeah, it would be cool if they say, like, we need, I don't know, airplane engineers.
Yeah.
Stay here and you don't have to worry about your visa, and there's a bunch of kroners for you every month. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. And, like, I could see it happening because, I mean, like, defense budget is up several percent.
A lot.
And they know they're preparing. Even if it's not a war here, it's a war
somewhere
close. They've also funded Ukraine, like, a shit ton. So, like, they are the kind of country that does that.
Yeah.
But say Russia invades Poland, they will send whatever they have.
Yeah.
And they will be looking for people to make that stuff.
I would be so happy if they start investing in like supersonic, like compressible flow research at DTU, which is something that doesn't exist in Denmark. I really love that shit. And back when I was in Colombia looking for places to go, like my number one thing was going to the US to develop supersonic, hypersonic flow stuff. But all of the applications for that are like missiles and like war, and it's the US, so you need a green card to even be allowed to see whatever they're
You're
researching.
also like kind of Mexican, so they don't like you.
I am too South American for any of that. So I went to wind energy instead, which is pretty nice.
Which is cool. And I mean, wind energy, I think will wind specifically, I'm not sure. But like energy in general, like security is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And like being able to, even like the defense companies that I've talked to just like as part of my job, a lot of their, I mean, this is before all this, but a lot of their manufacturing was actually to protect wind farms. Like it's like basically like sonar and radar to like detect drones and stuff in the air. And like, because wind farms are critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
And like we have seen the consequences of like a submarine cutting a cable or like things like that, where they have started, the defense companies have started manufacturing to protect energy.
But defense like a drone that actually wants to go and destroy wind turbines?
Kind of like they are worried about that, but it's also like undersea stuff, like ships dragging anchors and
like it could also be like a mistake.
It could also be a mistake. But now I think it's much more like deliberate, as like we actually have like our wind farms are like a life supply. Like we need those to have a society, and so we need them to be protected.
Yeah, and it's an interesting problem, right? Because one thing is defending like a central thing, like if you have a nuclear power plant or a coal power plant, like all is there in a single
exactly.
place. So that's good and bad, right? Because if that specific place get bombed, well, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But you only have one tiny place to defend.
Yeah.
But if you have a bunch of wind turbines spread in the middle of the Atlantic,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. Like
don't know.
if they destroy one, it's okay, but
Yeah.
you have to defend like
exactly.
a bunch of area in the sea. That's a lot.
But I think that's, I mean, if you want to work in defense and not compromise your morals, that's a big thing. At least in Denmark, because I mean, they have a lot of energy infrastructure that needs to be protected. But I also don't I don't know where your moral boundary is. But if your country is being attacked, would you want to work for defense, even if it was building missiles? Like
that's the thing. I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom would just call me like, Juan Felipe, you get back to Colombia right now.
Yeah, I think I would also get some calls.
Don't be stupid. And I'm like, Mom, you know I'm stupid. I don't know. I think I would like to stick around a bit.
I think I would stick around. I think I would be delusional enough to think that I won't get killed, basically.
Yeah. And also, I've been thinking, like, if you die, well, it's okay. Like,
I won't live till 2050, though.
I do want to see 2050.
Yeah, I want to see 2050.
But I don't know. I mean, with all this state of the world, like, I'm not worrying right now, like, saving money for when I retire.
No, no, me neither.
I think there's a very good chance that I'll just die before I'm 16, so that's okay.
Yeah, agreed.
So, like, and I really hate the idea of, like, I didn't spend this money and now I'm dead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. What am I saving for?
Yeah, it's like, what? I hate that idea. So, just want to die young.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have an idea of how you're going to die?
Do I have an idea of how I'm going to die? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like pretty sure I know. Not that I.
You're pretty sure you know how I'm going to die?
I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to die.
How are you going to die?
Okay, it's not specific. It's like, it's not going to be of old age and it's not going to be of illness. I'm just going to like accidentally like run off a cliff or something. Like, it'll be my fault. And it's just because I've like done something kind of absent-mindedly, like accidentally crashed into a wall or something. Like, it'll be like my fault. It'll be an accident. It'll be
I pushed my back in a Ryanair.
Exactly. And I dislocated my thumb and I died of an infection. Like, it would be something like that.
Oh, battery.
Like, it's not.
And you want to get to 2050 that way?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I should try because, like, I do. 2050 is only, I'll be 53. So, like,
okay.
That's
fairly achievable.
That's fairly achievable. I just can't, like, run into a bus before then or something. Yeah, unless I, like, freakishly get sick because, like, you know, you can't control if you have cancer or whatever. I feel like I'll, like, I don't know, accidentally tip back too far in my chair and hit my head and die. Like, it'll be like...
So you think that's more likely than you getting cancer?
Yes.
Wow.
Like, it'll just be a total accident and it'll be my fault. It'll be stupid.
It'll be followed. I don't know. I mean, I'm also stupid, so maybe that will also happen. But I don't know. I feel like the dangerous things that I do, maybe I'll just windsurf too hard.
Windsurf too close to the sun.
Maybe. Oh, one thing that I've thought, like, it would be such a cool way to die is like windsurf on a thunderstorm and just get electrocuted. That would be so cool.
That would be cool if you survive. That would be like, okay, you might die, but like it'd be doubly cool if you survived.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be cool.
The landing surfer. Oh, that would be so cool. That would be cool either way.
Yeah, true.
It would only be bad if you survive, but then you're like a vegetable.
Yeah, true. I would not want to be like brain dead or something. I don't want dementia. I don't want Alzheimer's. Like,
I want to die before I get dementia.
Exactly.
Or like if I get like paralytic or something, exactly. Like, oh, just kill me. Come on.
Yeah. I will. Like, I don't want to be in like a world where I can't think about things, have no clear thoughts or anything. Yeah. Though I don't know, maybe when I get dementia, I won't care about it. So like,
you just forget about it.
I'll just forget about it. I'll be like, who the fuck are you? Exactly. So maybe I'll get dementia and not worry about it. But I would like to not get there.
I agree. And I think this could be our on record thing. Like, yeah, just kill us if we're just a vegetable.
Yeah, exactly.
Please do.
Please do.
It's a mercy thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is official.
Yes. Now it's recorded.
It's recorded. It's said. It's
probably go on the internet.
Yes.
It'll. What a great ending.
What a great ending. Yes, literally.
Yeah.
Great ending.
Great ending.
Oh my God. We are so neurodivergent. we started with a question. We didn't even touch about the idea of not eating meat.
No.
we kind of planned this. We didn't, but we kind of did.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about billionaires and death and war.
Not eating meat is an interesting one, but that's going to cause so many problems. Like
not eating meat?
Yeah, because could you imagine telling farmers to do anything? They don't. They don't do shit.
But I think like if you give them options, like.
Yes, but I think half of it is culture. Like half of it is like I've been a dairy farmer my whole life, and my dad was a dairy farmer,
but dairy is fine.
Or like whatever. I've been a beef farmer my whole life, and my dad was a beef farmer.
Okay, so now the idea is you don't eat meat from tomorrow, because I think that's a very quote unquote achievable policy. Because you tomorrow, if they tell you cannot eat meat tomorrow, that's fine. You cannot eat meat tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then you just don't eat meat tomorrow, and then if you take that decision every day, then voila, you don't eat meat anymore.
Some people will riot.
But that's the thing, you can give them stuff. Like my idea with not eating meat would be like, you don't eat meat most of the year. And then you have like one day in the summer and one day in the winter where it's a special holiday.
Meat day.
Meat day. Boom. And everyone gets laid. I think it's fine.
Man, I can't wait for meat day. Meat Day 2025. Oh my god.
Could you imagine the barbecues and the gathering and everything?
Yeah, that's true. It would become like a cultural event.
Cultural. I mean, yeah, and it's like you don't have
a black meat market. Like people will like trade.
but yeah, and I think about like the prohibition time in the United States in the 20s when they have like the signs of like we want beer, like guys like we want beef, we want sausage. But I think is doable. I mean, of course, us being like not just us, but even the older generation who have a culture of like I have eaten meat for 30 years and I don't want to stop eating it. Of course, it would be hard.
Yeah,
but over time, it would be easier, right?
Yeah. I think there's two ways you can do it, which I think the first way is happening now where you like phase in meat alternatives so that people just stop eating meat naturally.
Yes.
And then like the farmers can deal with it.
Yes.
This would be like so abrupt that I think people will like, there will be big pushback because they'll be like, okay, you're taking with
you can have a ramp up like this month, like you can not eat meat 1 day a week, and then the next month is 2 days a week, and then like a year from now you're eating meat once a week.
How do you enforce that? Do you have the meat police?
You need a meat police. Yes. I think you can regulate how much meat is sold.
Yeah, true. But then you get the billionaire problem where they're gonna buy all the meat.
No, I agree. I mean, I think this is a good idea in general, to eat less meat, like less CO2 emissions. But I still believe my policy would be targeted towards billionaires. Yeah. Also, we didn't say this, but one of the big advantages of targeting the billionaires is it only affects a handful of people.
Yeah.
So
it's like 100 people.
Like the problem with the meat is like everyone would be angry.
Yeah.
And also the problem with the cars, like everyone would be affected.
Everyone would be affected, and it doesn't solve it. Like everyone would then be like, okay, but what about the billionaires? Like
exactly,
you're making me do all this stuff, and I can't even afford to put food on the table.
Yeah.
And you haven't done anything to billionaires except now they can't eat meat. Like I think the billionaire thing is like a solution to everyone being resentful of a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes.
And also the billionaires.
Yes.
And you would get rid of Elon Musk.
Yes.
Because he will definitely die.
He would definitely die. Yes.
Meat day. Should we, like in real life, should we just create meat day?
Meat day? Yeah. What do you mean?
Like your birthday every year? We just like go up to like our friends and be like, all right, guys, it's meat day.
It's meat day.
And all we eat like the whole day is just sausages.
When I went, when I was living in Stuttgart for the external state, like I visited a friend in Munich, and basically I spent the whole day with him. And it's Munich, so there's a bunch of meat and sausages and beer everywhere. I love Munich. At the end of the day, well, we went to a bunch of places, and at the end was like a fancy Bavarian restaurant with like food, and obviously there was a lot of meat.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he was very impressed. He's like, Juan, I didn't know a person could eat so much meat in one day, and I was just so happy. It was meat and beer all day, and I loved it. It was great.
That shortened your lifespan by like 5 years.
It's totally worth it. I'll just exercise.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You need to offset the meat with exercise so you can live to 2050.
I think 2050 is achievable. I'll be like, what, 56?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Unless you fall off a cliff, in which case, not easy.
Unless I get hit by a lightning while windsurfing.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Should we say something for the ending?
You could do your chicken thing. The end.
The end.
The end. We can refine this as we go along.
I was like, okay, Juan Felipe, do your best impression of a dog. And I'm like, I cannot do a dog, but I can do a chicken. And I'm like, and they were like, wait, do it again. Everyone was very impressed with my chicken.